Kelsey
and Kendra.
So for today's video, we're going to be doing a hair Q&A, and I honestly don't think we've ever done one of these on our channel before, because most of the hair Q&As we've done have been like in person at like meet and greets and stuff like that. So you guys are kind of getting the experience that we used to have at meetups.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like what we used to do after the meetup portion. We would just have a Q&A session, and most of the questions would be about hair, of course. I asked you guys on my Instagram story a day ago to ask me some questions about hair, your hair, our hair, any kind of dilemmas you're having. And I wasn't expecting the amount of questions.
It was a lot.
I was kind of overwhelmed. It was like hundreds of questions.
Yeah.
Even though some of them were kind of repetitive, because I noticed a lot of you guys have some of the same issues with your hair. So I tried to make sure I limited each question to one person so that it's fair. If you did ask more than one question, you will probably only get one question answered in this video.
But you might hear your other question from someone else.
Someone else,
possibly.
exactly. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it because like I said, there were a lot. Okay, so first question, have you considered cutting your hair at all? If so, would you go short or medium?
I would probably go medium just because I'm typically close to that anyway. Every time I ask Kelsey to cut my hair every year. I'm not one to keep stringy, really damaged ends even if it grows that long. I like all my hair to feel really luscious and full and healthy. So even if my hair has grown a lot, if it doesn't look good, then I'm chopping it off.
Yeah.
And as far as like super short, I have had really short hair. It was just before I was natural. So it was when we had relaxed hair.
Yes.
And I remember I had to get all my hair chopped off because I was using metal curling irons on it like every single day.
Like a crazy
It was
person.
a hot mess. Never ever again.
Yes.
Never. So I remember at the time when we were going to a salon, I remember Kelsey was watching my hair get cut and I saw the look on her face and I knew it wasn't good.
Yeah, I was sitting under the dryer and I was like, and Kendra was like,
yeah, I was
like,
saying, what are you looking at? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I remember as she was like flat ironing it, I remember my head felt really light. And when you have a lot of hair, you can just tell when a lot of it is gone.
Yeah, so true.
It just felt very different to me.
Yeah.
It was very foreign. So I wasn't used to that feeling of having barely any hair. And I remember how short it was because I remember how short my ponytail looked when I had to put it into like a ponytail. And for the longest time, I only wore it in like a low bun until it grew all the way out. It was like right above my collarbone. So like
pin straight.
Pin straight. So it was very short. And it's never been that short since because I was taking better care of it after that.
Yeah. And I haven't gone that short, but
No,
my
I've
hair,
never seen your hair that short.
No, my hair has never been that short. But the shortest my hair has been is probably like right above my boobs. How to prevent damage while curling? Well, when you're curly, your hair is obviously going to be more prone to breakage because it's usually wet while you're trying to style it. So just make sure you take your time when you're doing your wash and goes. Don't be trying to rush through. If you're in a hurry, pick another day to do your wash and go because when you are rushing and in a hurry, your hair is going to be more susceptible to breakage. Yeah. Because you're not delicate enough with your hair usually if you're rushing. So.
Yeah, and you might unintentionally be breaking it off and causing more breakage like when you're pulling and tugging on it.
Yeah.
So make sure you have the time. So set aside enough time to do your hair to ensure that it stays healthy.
Yes.
And I've had those moments where I'm just annoyed and I just want to get it over with because I didn't feel like doing my hair today.
Yeah.
But I have to remember, Kendra, it's gonna be worth it. Just take your time.
Yeah. How do you determine whether your hair needs a moisturizing or a protein deep conditioner? Well, basically, like whatever the state of your hair in, that's how you determine it. Like if your hair is breaking off a lot,
Need protein.
you need some protein. If your hair is dry, you need moisture.
Yeah.
That's usually what I do.
I would alternate. So especially if you're curly, it's easier to do because you tend to style your hair more when it's curly.
Yes.
So maybe at the beginning of the week, do a protein treatment, and then at the end of the week, do a moisture treatment.
Moisturizing treatment, yeah, that's what I usually do.
So I just alternate deep conditioners.
Or I alternate weeks. Like 1 week I'll do protein, the next week I'll do moisture,
Yeah, I'll do that.
and then so forth.
So incorporate both in your routine to ensure that you're getting like a nice balance. And I think when it comes to moisture, that's the easier one to detect because you can just feel your hair and know when it needs some extra hydration. You can just feel how dry it is. So you know, it's kind of like when you know you need lotion. Like you know when you ashy. you know when you need to moisturize.
Yes. Good. Yeah. How do you combat dry or itchy scalp? So I experienced this a lot last year and the year before. I haven't really had itchy scalp this year, and that goes to show you how much your hair changes and what your
based
hair
on the environment too.
and the environment.
We haven't been out as much this year.
Yes.
Well, last year.
Yeah. We've been in the house mostly, but for some reason when I would go out more, my scalp would be more itchy and dry, especially in the wintertime. But I usually like to use a rosemary mint shampoo from Aveda, and that always helps me a lot. That was my favorite shampoo to use on clients when we went to school there, and it just does wonders to the scalp. And it feels amazing too while you're like massaging it in your scalp. And as far as like the dryness of it, and if you have a lot of dandruff as well, you should use a shampoo with parentheum zinc in it.
Yes.
So like Head and Shoulders has that ingredient in it. But my favorite is Nioxin. Nioxin has a really good parentheum zinc shampoo and conditioner. So that's my favorite. So you should try those out. Hopefully they help you. How do you combat shedding? Now I kept saying this question a lot about shedding and how to stop shedding, and I'm just like, y'all, shedding is normal.
Also, it's based on the condition your hair is in, not as far as the state of it as far as health, but the style that you wear it in.
Yes.
So if you're wearing braids, if your hair is like constantly just up, and if you always wear it natural, because we don't tend to use combs and brushes that
every
often.
day. Yeah.
So we're not like brushing our hair from root to tip every day when
Yes.
it's curly. So those hairs are gonna like fall out but gather in our hair. They're not gonna fall out as fast as they would if your hair was just pinned straight.
Exactly.
So all the strands are gonna look like they're coming out at once, but it was just over time.
Yes.
And also, especially with the braids, because when we used to get our hair braided when we were little, every time we would take them down, it would be literally like a ball,
a huge ball
of hair. Like you can create a wig with it. So that's normal. The only time you should be concerned is if your hair is coming out in clumps of hair.
Yes.
That's two different things.
Yes. Like if you're doing this and your hair is coming out, then you might need to go to a doctor and get that checked out, or it might be some kind of medication you're on or something. That's completely different. But shedding, like Kendra said, it all depends on how you are styling your hair or how have it styled. Like if you have braids under a sew-in, take your braids out. It's from shedding, you guys.
Yes.
It's normal. I promise you it's normal. Any tips for hair that's prone to breakage? It's only prone to breakage when it's wet, and that's the state that your hair is in at a temporary time. But if it's always prone to breakage, even when it's dry, you probably should do a protein treatment.
Yes, and you should probably start paying more attention to the health of your hair and the attention that you're giving it. Because I noticed that a lot of times when people neglect their hair and they don't really make it a point to have an actual hair routine, their hair shows. It shows in how it looks, how it feels. And you can tell that it's neglected pretty much.
Definitely, yeah. How often do you trim your hair? So we usually like to trim our hair about twice a year. That's usually good enough for us. I like to trim my hair right when I straighten it, and then I like to trim it again right before I go curly again. Just like as a refresher, and my curls like curl better. They clump better as well when I go back curly. And I prefer to just cut my hair straight because I can see everything I need to see with my hair straight.
True.
Sometimes when my hair is curly, I will cut a few like straight pieces, but I don't really count that as a trim. I just count that as getting rid of hair that's not curling anymore, damaged hair that's not curling anymore. But like an actual trim, twice a year. What's the best hair dye to go black?
We've used quite a few.
Yeah, a lot of brands.
And we'll probably be in trouble if like our beauty school teachers hear us say this, but drugstore has some good ones, even though those are not the best for your hair. But if you're not doing it often, I don't think it's gonna hurt much.
Yeah, I don't either.
And we're talking about going dark. If you're trying to go light, please go to a salon. Do not try to bleach your hair at home.
No.
And we told you not to do it. So don't blame us for encouraging you to dye your hair at home. We're talking about dark.
Dark,
so
if you're
black.
going dark, yes.
I like Garnier. Garnier is really good. They have some really good ones, and I like the oil that comes with their hair dye, so it maintains the health of your hair, so it's not as drying.
I like L'Oreal. I like to use the L'Oreal Feria Intense Black one, the blue black one. That's my favorite drugstore one. And as far as salon brands, I really like the Redken Chromatics. Yeah, that one. We used to go to Cosmoprof to get that, but you have to have a license to go get that. And then it was another one that we used to get off Amazon. What was the name of that one?
We used to use a Joico one.
Yeah, it was Joico.
And that was the darkest one too. I think it was like 1N or something like that.
Yeah.
But those require a developer, and everybody's not savvy with developers, and you don't know, how much you need and how to mix it and all that.
Yeah.
So that's why for people who are at home, like everyday person who's not very well inclined with hair, especially color, the box dye is very user friendly.
It is.
And L'Oreal and Garnier are the ones that we prefer for drugstore.
Yes, definitely. Is it bad to trim your ends only once a year? No. If your hair only needs to trim once a year, it's not bad to only trim once a year.
It depends on what you're doing to your hair throughout the year.
Yes. So if you're doing more too, you're going to need more than one trim.
Exactly. If you use heat in it most of the time, so if you're constantly flat ironing it or putting a curling iron in it, you're going to probably need a trim more often.
Yeah.
But if you wear your hair natural most of the time, you're probably not going to have to cut it as much.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you're doing to your hair.
Yeah, how much manipulation.
Yes.
Yeah. Is transitioning easier or harder than doing the big chop? Well, in my opinion,
that's personal.
It's very personal. So that depends on the person. For us, it was easier just to transition because I didn't want to go cold turkey and do the big chop.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little overwhelming.
I didn't know how I would look with short hair. Even though I would love to see if I can pull off one because I think they're so pretty and you just look so elegant with it. I was not willing to take that risk at the time.
And also, I feel like you have to... A lot of people with short hair say it's easier, but for me, I feel like the opposite. I feel like I don't really have that many options.
Yeah, you have to... It always has to look styled.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't go nowhere looking crazy because it's just going to look crazy.
Yes.
But like if your hair is longer, you can just throw it in a bun or...
Yeah.
You know.
More options.
More
options. Versatile.
But transitioning, I'm not going to lie, it was a little tricky because the curly roots and then the straight ends just looked a mess. So I did a lot of braid outs and twist outs during my transitioning process. And it was honestly like a low-key, like a little science project because when I remember when Kendra's curls started to come in, I was like, oh, they're spirals. You were like, really? And I like took a picture of them and like showed her. But I prefer transitioning even though transitioning does take longer.
Because it's like a gradual transition into a head full of curls.
So
you have to have more patience.
Way more patience. So with transitioning, I like cut off a little bit like every month or every other month. I will cut off a little bit until I had more curls and less straight ends, and then eventually just all curls.
Yes.
So yeah. What made you decide to go back natural? So this question was a little tricky because when we...
Back natural?
Yeah.
That's the part that confused me when I heard it. I'm like, back natural.
Yeah, I know it's not confusing for you to ask, but it's confusing for me to think about because when we first started getting relaxers, we were children. We got our first relaxer when we were like 10 years old. So it wasn't really our option to not be natural anymore. Our mom... She was a single mom and it was a lot of work doing her hair, I imagine. So us getting relaxers, it just made it way easier for her.
More manageable.
Way more manageable. Even though I feel like my hair is manageable now. I think you just have to learn how to do natural hair. But once we stopped getting relaxers, I think we were like 15 or 16.
15 or 16.
Yeah, we decided ourselves. We were like, Ma, I think we can do our own hair because we had started watching YouTube videos of Atia. I don't know if you guys remember watching her back in the day, but that's who we started watching. And
And at the time, we were still loving wearing our hair straight.
Straight, yes.
So that's the first time I saw that you can actually style your own hair at home.
And you didn't have to have a relaxer to actually get a good blowout and flat iron.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's when we realized, oh, these are the tools we're going to need. Oh, I can do that here at home. Like, we don't need to go to a salon.
Yeah.
So that's when we told our mom we would save money from going to the salon because you always have to double pay, obviously. And then, obviously, they charge more the more hair you have.
Which is understandable because you take more time in the chair.
Right. So we just convinced her to let us go to Ulta, buy all of our own hair products, and then we're going to start doing our hair at home. And that's how it started. And then that's when we realized, wait, I think we should start going natural.
Yeah,
I was like, the relaxer thing ain't working. I wasn't comfortable putting a relaxer in my own hair.
Me either. And because I think I only did it once. Put a relaxer in my own hair. And after that, I was like, I think I just want to go natural to see how my natural hair looks. And I also noticed that my hair kept hitting a plateau, like it wasn't growing past a certain length. So I was like, maybe going natural and seeing our hair in its natural state would help with the growth. And it did. So that's why we noticed our hair wasn't growing as fast or as long as we wanted it to. So that's why we decided to go natural. What to do about heat damage? As far as heat damage, I mean, we still have it in some areas of our hair. Heat damage can get a little tricky because I feel like it's honestly next to color damage, like the hardest to get rid of. And you have to have patience. For me,
you have to be consistent with treatments.
Yeah. For me, it was the consistency of deep conditioning my hair, doing protein treatments, well, not treatments, but protein deep conditioners every week, and then I would do a protein treatment every month. And in between, of course, I will always do moisture deep conditioners to keep that balance. But for me, like after like maybe 4 or 5 months, if I see that that particular area of my hair or piece is not curling back up, I would just cut it off. Because
that's what I was gonna say. The root of the problem is to cut it off.
Yeah.
And after you only cut so much off, like if you're comfortable with cutting more, do that. But if you're only comfortable with a certain amount, like start with 1 inch, then 2 inches, then 3. And then the hair that's left, make sure you treat that area. So whatever problem area you have the most, because I notice curly girls who go back to straight hair sometimes, we all have that one stubborn area that doesn't curl up as much as the rest of the hair. It might be thinner, it might not be as resilient as some of the other areas in your hair.
Yes.
And for me, Afro-G was a lifesaver. So they have a protein treatment that worked really well on my curls. And if you have a problem not getting your curls to like bounce back the way that you want, the Afro-G protein treatment is like this 2-step treatment. So it's like a liquidy protein treatment that you use. You're supposed to let it dry, and then it comes with like a balancing conditioner. So try that if nothing else is working. So I would do that about once a month and see over time if your curls get better. But the only way you're going to see them get better is if you're consistent with treatments. You can't just use something one time and think it's going to just change everything. So you have to be consistent.
Yes. And also, like if you want to do like an at-home deep conditioning treatment, like protein treatment, I used to always do avocado, a banana, I would do mayo, olive oil, and 1 egg. And I would do a little bit of coconut oil sometimes. I would mix that all together, slap it in my hair, put like 3 shower caps on, and let it sit on my hair for about 2 hours. And then I will wash it out. So I will also do that every month sometimes too, and it helped. Because my curls, they took a little longer to pop than Kendra's. So I was trying all kinds of stuff, and that was one of the things that really worked for me to get my curls nice and bouncy. Do you think protective styles are a good way to grow your hair out? Yes, if you're gentle with your hair. So still make sure you're being gentle with your hair if you're doing any kind of braids, or whoever is doing your hair is gentle on them edges. Because sometimes when you get your hair braided, they're way too tight. Like if you get those little bumps, girl, they are too tight. You're trying to keep your edges, not lose them. And if you're doing like just at home protective styles like braid outs or twist outs, you also make sure you're being gentle with your hair.
Yes. And also I would suggest not doing the same protective style over and over if there's pulling involved. So if it's like, you know, braids that are like really tight at the root, when it's time to take them out, give your hair a break. And then put them back in. Don't put them right back in, because it's going to be more pulling and tugging on your hair.
A lot of tension.
So you're kind of being counterproductive. So you're doing the opposite of what you're trying to be intentional about. So you're trying to protect your hair, but at the same time you don't want to damage it while you're trying to protect it, because it kind of is pointless.
Yeah, it defeats the purpose. Yeah, so like Kendra said, take a break. I would say if you like wearing your hair in braids, or if you like doing box braids or anything like that, or twist or anything like that, just like Kendra said, just wait in between a little bit, like maybe 2 to 3 weeks, get them done again, wear them for a while, and then make sure you take those breaks in between. Because it's very vital on your hair. Like your hair
needs a break.
And
in between those weeks, make sure during that time before you put the braids back in that you're actually treating and taking care of your hair during that time. Don't just not touch it. So make sure you're still deep conditioning. Make sure you're still keeping it moisturized and hydrated. So please consider those factors when the braids or whatever style you like to wear, it's not in your hair. Make sure you're treating it well in between that time.
How to retain length? Well, retaining length is basically equivalent to a healthy hair routine. That's basically what it is. You just have to give yourself a routine and stick to it, because you have to take care of this hair in order to see the length that you want to see. Because your hair is always growing from the scalp, but if you're not taking care of the hair at the ends, you're not going to see the length that you want to see.
So it's growing, but if it's like breaking off, it's doing this.
Which means
you're not seeing progression.
Which means you think your hair is not growing, but like if your hair was not growing, you would not be here.
Hair grows. When you shave, it's gonna come back unless you get laser.
Your hair is growing, it's inevitable. But just take care of your ends as much as possible. We have a chapter in our book about ends. Because of this issue right here, retaining length. People don't realize how important it is to take care of your ends. They're like,
the hair at the bottom is the oldest.
And it's the more vulnerable hair. Like it's the hair that's more prone to breakage. It's the weaker hair. Like the hair at your root is strong, I'm telling you.
Because it's new.
It's new hair.
New hair.
Exactly. But this hair, you actually need to pay more attention to it, especially if you want to see that length. So like we said, deep conditioning, getting trims twice a year, very vital in order to see that length. and stick to the routine. I know we keep saying routine, y'all, but that's the only way you're gonna see results. The only way. How to keep moisture retention after washing. So if you want to retain moisture after you wash your hair, just re-wet it.
Yes.
Like right before you put in like your leave-in conditioner or whatever kind of conditioner you're using. So like apply your product to wet hair.
Or if it's a headache to like walk around or like sit in a different area of your house with dripping wet hair and then you start doing your hair, I would even say start the moisturizing process in the shower or at the sink, wherever you wash your hair. Start putting whatever leave-in you use in your hair while it's still wet.
Or you can leave a little bit of the conditioner you're using in your hair as well.
Yeah, you can do that also.
So both of those work very well. Have y'all ever tried individual twist on your natural hair? If not, would you ever consider it? I think it'll look amazing. Well, thank you. I've seen the twist and I think they're super pretty, but I actually prefer the look of box braids.
Yeah, I like the look of box braids.
So I would do box braids.
I'm still reluctant because I just don't like sitting there that long. And I don't know. I love how they look, but I don't know if I would just sit there and get them done because...
Yeah, I get that.
People be like, oh, this would look cute on you, but then it's just like, I would have to sit in somebody's chair for 2 to 3 hours, and that's not fun, so...
I just think about the takedown because usually when I see people take out their box braids, they cut the ends and then they start taking it out. But what if my hair is super long? So what if I accidentally cut my real hair?
Yeah. So you would have to like start from the bottom to be safe.
I would have to get them extra long, which I actually don't like that look. Like I don't want box braids to my behind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to think about that too because you're supposed to like, you know, get them a little bit longer than your own hair.
Yeah.
But if your hair is already long, it's kind of tricky when you're doing the takedown. So.
Yeah, I don't have the patience. But I do love the look of just braids in general, like most braids that are styled.
I love cornrows, of course.
I love cornrows, yeah.
I'm going to do more of those this summer. Do you think wash and goes grow your hair / help you retain length? They can if you're doing them the right way.
And depending on what products you're using.
And the products you're using. There are a lot of variables to this.
Yes.
Because people just think, oh, I'm doing a wash and go. But if you put in like alcohol-filled products in your hair every time you do your wash and go and you're never deep conditioning, then it's probably not going to help you grow your hair out or retain length. So you still have to use the right products and have the right techniques and, like I said, be gentle with your hair. Especially while you're styling doing a wash and go because your hair is wet and more prone to breakage.
Yes.
So just be careful with that when you're doing your wash and goes. Take your time.
Should you buy hair products based on curl pattern or porosity? Yes, so both are very important. You should definitely buy products that cater to your hair type. So you're going to get the best results if the product is meant for your hair.
Yeah, like if you're using something that is for waves and you have coily hair, then you're not going to get the results you want. So like if you have a tighter curl pattern, you might want to use heavier products.
Yes, more oil-based products.
Definitely oil-based to get that moisture into your hair.
So you don't want to use mousses or anything that's very light because it's not going to do much to your hair.
Just soak it up like a sponge.
Yes.
Pretty much,
So you want to go for like the cream leave-ins or
butters,
things like that,
and oils, of course.
Yes. Also, if you're prone to a lot of frizz, you might want to go for a gel type product. And if you like more definition, you also want to go for a gel. Yeah. And I think everyone needs a leave-in conditioner in their routine. You just have to find which one works for you.
Yeah.
So there are like liquidy, like more spray water-based leave-in conditioners. There's also
cream ones,
cream leave-in conditioners,
lotion ones. Yeah. So it just depends on what your hair likes, and that takes time. So trying to decide what your hair likes does take time because we've tried probably hundreds of products on our hair. But once you find what your hair likes, just keep using it. Just stick with it. Your hair likes when you keep reintroducing something that it already liked. So if you keep changing it every single week or every single month, your hair's going to be like, what is this? What's going on?
I had to learn that too because we tried products a lot because we enjoyed just trying new things. But this past during this year, I was just trying to stick to a routine and the stuff that my hair liked. And the brands and products that I knew would get me results. So I would just be consistent with the same thing every week. And you will see a huge difference in your hair when you're constantly using these same products. I promise you. It's okay to switch every now and then, but at least give that routine a chance. And when you like those results, keep using that. How can I grow thick hair? Is it possible, or is thin hair just my genetics? So it definitely depends on your genetics. And it also depends on if your hair has always been thin,
or it's become thin because of something else.
Yeah, or if it's become thin over time, because I had an issue like a few years ago where my hair was thinning, but it was based on a lot of variables. It was based on stress, hormones, like different things like that. Being a woman is already complicated as hell, especially when it comes to hormones. Like, it just depends on medications you could be taking, what, you know, you're lacking in your diet, what you're eating can play a huge part in whether your hair is thick or thin.
If you have low iron.
I've had low iron in the past. I just recently had to stop taking iron because I don't need it anymore, thank God. So that can play a huge part. But if it's genetics, if you've just always had thin hair, I would just use like products that are for more body, make your hair look fuller. So you can give your hair the appearance of fuller hair, but I don't know if it will give you thick hair.
No.
If you've always had thin hair.
Because if you try, sorry to cut you off, but if you've tried everything, it's just inevitable that your hair is probably just naturally thin. Yeah, like, does anybody else in your family have thicker hair? Has it gotten thicker? So,
or do everybody just have
thin hair? Yeah, you might have to just come to the realization that, like you said, is it genetics? And like Kendra said, if it is genetics and you've tried everything and nothing works, Nioxin has a ton of products that help with hair density, like to make it look thicker,
look fuller.
I
I have a dry 4C hair. What are some good suggestions for products, please? So 4C hair, I'm assuming it's more coily, a lot tighter. I'm assuming it gets dry faster.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of answered this in one of the other questions. Your hair is going to like a lot of butters, a lot of creams, a lot of oils.
Yes.
So things that are extremely moisturizing, because they're going to weigh the hair down in a good way, not in a bad way. Because if you use products that are more lightweight, it's not going to do anything for your hair. It's going to just soak it up and not do anything, like I said. So
I would try the As I Am Double Buttercream.
Love that.
That's a really good leave-in. They also have a really good curling jelly.
They pair well together.
And as far as other brands, Camille Rose has a really good curl milk that's really good. It's called the Moisture Milk, I think. Yeah, Moisture Milk. So look for like milks and things that say like moisture on it. So those are the key words you want to look for with the product that you're putting in your hair.
And definitely creams and butters. I'm telling you, they're amazing.
Do you ever think about getting a curly cut in layers?
No, not really.
Because we've got to go back to straight.
Yeah, we've got this question so many times, but like Henry said, we straighten our hair. So when you go back and forth from like straight to curly, and you know you're gonna straighten your hair eventually, you have to think about how your hair falls when it's straight too. So getting a curly cut, I feel like it's more beneficial for people who only wear their hair curly
all the time.
And I don't only wear my hair curly, so I probably won't.
No.
And I prefer my hair being one length. But I can give my hair the appearance of layers like now. Like it looks like I have layers, but that's because of the style that my hair is in, like the blown out waves. You can just toss one side of your hair to the other to make it look like you have layers.
That's true.
But all of my hair is one length, and I prefer it that way because I notice my hair grows better when it's at one length, and it's way healthier when it's one length. Because when I had like the little V cut, my hair was breaking off too much.
Yeah, I find that layers are not good if you're trying to have healthier hair. If you're trying to maintain the health of your hair, layers, they're not that good for your hair long term because your hair is very vulnerable.
Yeah, so like your hair is not being protected by the hair at the top and that hair, the hair at the top, because layers, it creates more vulnerability to the hair that is exposed to the outside things. Like brushing up against things, you sit like laying back on it, like all kind of things come into play when it comes to layers.
And when it's all one length, like the hair kind of like,
it's like a little cocoon.
Yeah, it's safer and it just feels healthier. And I find that layers look good at some point, but over time they're not good for your hair, I feel, because it looks thinner, it doesn't look as full. So that's also another tip. If your hair, you feel like it looks thin or it feels thin, try to grow your hair out in an even cut.
One length, because I was gonna say that too, because sometimes if your hair looks thin, it might just be your haircut. Because I've seen that make a big difference in people. Like if you just do that one cut, it automatically looks thicker.
Yes,
automatically.
How to eliminate frizz for both curly and straight hair? So,
well, it depends on what you're doing.
You have to do two different things.
Both routines are very different, at least for us they are. By the way, we are going to have like a full playlist linked for you guys at the end of this video, like of all our hair tutorials, because I feel like some of the questions that were asked, we can show you better than we can tell you. But as far as curly hair, like I said, apply your products to wet hair.
Yes.
That's how you're going to see the most out of all of your products that you're applying, and you're going to see less frizz.
So and also make sure you're using a styler that works well with your hair type.
Yeah.
So whether that styler be like a styling cream, like one of the Miss Jessie's creams, like Kelsey likes those.
Or lotion.
Oh, lotions. I'm sorry, lotions. So like a multicultural curls.
Yeah.
Make sure you read the products because that's when you're going to see exactly what they're for. So gels are really good for definition and getting rid of frizz.
Yeah.
If you have a huge problem with frizz, then I would go for a gel. Just because those always work for me and my hair tends to last a lot longer.
But if you don't like gels, like I said, the key is applying your lotion or your leave-in conditioner
wet.
Make sure your hair is soaking, dripping wet. You can clean up the bathroom floor later. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference.
Or do it in the shower, like I said, or at the sink, wherever you wash it.
But even if you like have an area that's like drying out, when you use the other side of your head, just re-wet it.
Yeah, make sure you keep a spray bottle.
Spray bottle near. Yeah.
How can I train my curls? You keep wearing them.
I was just about to say
that's how you train them.
You have to wear them in order to train them. Because I know some people are like, I don't like my hair curly, but they go back to straighten it. I'm like, so how are you going to ever like it curly if you don't give your curls a chance to blossom?
You're prolonging the process of getting your hair to look more curly.
Yeah, so you have to actually wear them to get them curly.
You have to get past that awkward stage to where you don't really like your curls. So the more
you're not comfortable with them.
Yeah, or you're not comfortable with them. And the more you wear them, your curl is what I like to call memory. Your curls will have memory. So they will automatically start to spring up more, start to look more bouncy, more defined. Yeah. The more you wear them. We even have this problem when we go from straight back to curly. The first time we go back curly, depending on how I prepped my hair, my curls can be more bouncy or sometimes they're not as defined as I would like them to be, depending on how long my hair was straight.
Yeah, which is why I've stretched when I straighten my hair to way longer. Because when I did straighten my hair, I would straighten my hair every 2 weeks. And now I literally only straighten my hair like once a month during that time period. Which is usually cooler months, but I haven't been feeling like straightening my hair.
Yeah, we just wanted to give it a nice break for the whole 2020 last year. Yeah. We didn't feel like doing all that. So wear your curls more, get past the awkward phase. If you have a day where you just think your hair look a complete hot mess, just throw it in a bun, put some nice moisturizing products in it, and put on some edge control. You'll be alright.
Don't straighten it. Get used to wearing them first.
Yes. Hey, I was wondering how to retain moisture when you work out daily. Thanks. Just like you would when you do anything else.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's not any different, really.
Yeah, nothing different.
And if you're sweating a lot, if anything, the sweat kind of helps with moisture. It don't help with frizz.
No.
But it does help with moisture.
That's true.
Because it's like naturally like moisturizing your scalp. But I would just say like you would any other time. Yeah. And it depends on how your hair is styled.
Yeah.
So I can't really say.
My roots are dry, puffy, and frizzy, but my ends are defined. How can I fix it? Apply more product to your roots.
To your roots, yeah.
So the parts that are more stubborn in your hair, if you notice, some people I notice they'll put like just the same amount of even product throughout like that whole part of their hair.
I can't do that.
And there's certain areas that you have to manipulate and you
have to do a little extra work
in it. Yes.
Yeah.
So I have my areas where I have to apply more product because I know I'm more prone to frizz
in certain areas.
Yeah. So apply more product in those areas.
Yeah. Just like take your time more on those areas.
Will you guys go back to straighten your hair on cooler months? Eventually we will this year, but I've been loving wearing my natural curls and I've been loving just babying my hair and giving it like a nice long break from heat, but I still haven't really decided yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. I probably will if I feel like it. Again, like I haven't really been like, oh, it's cold outside, let me straighten my hair. Like I haven't really been doing that lately.
When we first started like wearing our hair natural, that was very like adamant just because we were trying to make sure our curls were coming back.
Yeah.
It's very important in the beginning of your hair journey to be consistent with that kind of routine.
With wearing it curly.
With wearing it curly, but the longer you're curly, you can kind of like change your routine around.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
Because now, like Kendra said, we just switch it up a lot more. And I probably will straighten my hair before summertime comes, but in the South I feel like our weather is so unpredictable. Like whenever sometimes I'm ready to straighten my hair, it's not cold enough yet. and I don't want to waste my time doing all that work for my hair just to frizz back up when I go outside. And every time I straighten my hair, it rains. So I just don't know.
Yeah, it just depends. We're not sure. How often should I wash my hair? So this depends on your hair type. It depends on like
how often you work out.
Yeah, it depends on your routine daily, like what you do personally.
Yeah.
And you can feel when you need to wash your hair.
Yeah.
Like honestly, you can just tell. Like when you can't stop scratching it.
It's a personal choice, honestly.
Yeah, it's personal. So
just don't overwash it. Like don't wash it like every 2 days.
No.
Because then you're gonna dry it out.
I would say once a week.
Yeah, once a week is good.
Yeah.
And if your hair is straight, I would say once a month is good.
Yeah, or every 2 weeks.
Or every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it depends. What products are best for length retention? So I would say products that are strengthening.
Protein. I was just about to say
anything that has strengthening on
in it. I used to use this Aquage deep conditioner, the strengthening
Yes,
mask.
that was really good.
That's really good for helping with hair retention, with length retention.
And heat damage.
And heat damage. So it helped me tons. So any protein treatment that you like, Joico, the K-Pack is one of our favorites.
It's a really good one.
I'm obsessed with the Shea Moisture Manuka Honey Deep Conditioner.
That one's really
one
good.
Of my favorites.
The Shea Moisture Jamaican Black Castor Oil.
That's good.
Is amazing. That's one of my favorites. What else? Redken has a really good anti-snap line.
Anti-snap is the blue line. We've been using the anti-snap like leave-in to straighten our hair for years.
Yes.
And that makes a big difference. So when we actually do straighten, we actually think about the health of our hair while we're straightening too. So when you're trying to manipulate your hair, always have the health of your hair in mind too.
I have mild traction alopecia from pulling my ponytails too tight. Any remedies?
Oh girl. Well, first of all, stop wearing your hair so tight.
Yes.
Also, scalp massages make a big difference. In using castor oil, rosemary, peppermint is really good, but I would say stick with castor and rosemary. Those are really good, and massage your scalp and do it every single day.
So every night before bed is really good. So just take your time, focus it on the areas where your hair is, you know, the thinnest, the problem areas.
Yeah, you can even do it like while you're watching your favorite show, a movie or something.
Yes.
Do it for like 30 minutes a day, and it should help make a difference.
Also, make sure you're leaving your hair out from like too tight like hair ties. So even if you still want to wear it up, don't do it too tight. So try to make sure that whatever you're using to tie your hair up is not like rubber bands that are gonna break your hair off. So make sure you're using satin scrunchies and things that don't have like the little metal band around it, those little scrunchies.
Yeah, I've mentioned my favorite scrunchies in my braided ponytail video. They're like the really stretchy ones. They're kind of like, they feel like cloth, but they're really stretchy. Those are really good if you want to actually do a ponytail or like a low bun or something.
Because it's not going to snag your hair.
It's not going to snag your hair either.
How long did it take you to reach your hair goals? Do you want your hair to get any longer?
It took us, I don't even know, so maybe
I really lost count.
Me too.
Like, I don't really keep track of like the time when it started growing, because it was growing before we went natural. It just wasn't as healthy as it could be at the time.
It's always growing. You mean it was long?
Well, it was long. I meant it was long then. But,
even when we weren't natural. I would say maybe like 7 to 9 years. And like in total.
In total?
But I can't really say because
no,
my hair
I would say it wasn't 9. I would say more like 6.
See, I don't know. Because I'm not keeping track like that. I just take care of my hair.
Yes. And whatever length it looks like, if it looks healthy, it's like, oh, great.
Yeah. And I honestly wouldn't want to grow my hair longer, because now even like every time I go back to straighten my hair, it always grows like at my butt crack. Like it stops at my butt crack, and I always cut it right back up to waist length because that's way too long for me.
Yeah.
It looks stringy usually when it grows that long. So for me, health over length always. So yeah.
And I don't really know if I wanted to get any longer. Like obviously it's gonna get longer, but I don't know what length I would cut it to when it gets longer. So we'll just have to see. I really can't answer that because I don't know, honestly. How can I preserve my wash and go? After 5 days, my curls are in a bun, LOL. That's normal.
Yeah, 5 days is
preserving, girl.
Right? I'm like, that's a good time frame.
Yes.
It's not like you do your hair one day and have to do it again the next day. And if you have that issue, I would just say use a water-based leave-in to kind of refresh it when you wake up, because re-wetting your hair every single day is not the move, and it's not good for your hair. Because like I said earlier, your hair is going to be more prone to breakage. If you're not trying to wet your hair every day, that's not good.
Yeah.
So use like a water-based leave-in conditioner if you don't want to completely do another wash and go.
Refresh it.
Yeah, just refresh it, a little refresher.
Yes. Which oils do you recommend using for hair growth?
Castor.
Castor oil is really good.
That's
rosemary.
my number one. Rosemary oil is really good.
Those are top two, honestly.
Honestly, I wouldn't say more than those.
I like coconut oil, but coconut oil is not for growth.
Coconut oil breaks me out.
Olive
So
oil.
if I put coconut oil on my scalp, I'm gonna have bumps on my forehead, so I can't use that. So castor oil is really, really good. I like the regular castor oil, and I like the really dark one. It just depends on what your hair likes.
Are you using any supplements currently?
Yes.
So not just currently, in general, we take vitamins.
I mean, we always like to try to take vitamins.
Yeah, just because I take it for just to be healthy.
Yeah, right now I'm taking the Be Famous by Dr. Nigma, and it's basically
It's a B vitamin.
It's a B vitamin with a ton of B vitamins in it that help with a ton of things.
Yes. So it's good for your immune system. I think it has biotin in it, folic acid.
Great for hair growth. Biotin and folic acid are great for hair growth. Great for hair growth. And I also take a separate biotin, so I guess I'm taking double biotin, but it's probably a waste because if you're overtaking a certain supplement,
it's counterproductive.
You're gonna pee most of it out anyway. So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But another good biotin that I like to take is from the brand, I'll put it right here, I can't remember the name of it, but it's from Whole Foods, and that biotin does not break me out. So if you're looking for a biotin that doesn't break you out, that one is really good.
So I'm taking omega-3, so fish oil is really good for your health and your hair. So fish oil, I'm also taking the B vitamin, that we take the same one, and I also take a probiotic. So those are the only supplements that I take.
I should probably start back taking the probiotic, but every time I was taking my probiotics, my stomach would hurt. Like,
so you
it
need
would
to
feel like I had gas or something.
So you need to switch your probiotic.
Yeah.
My roots are frizzy AF when I wash and go, no matter what I use, and yes, I deep condition. So
keep switching your products, girl.
Try something new, and also apply more product to your roots,
yes.
like we recommended. I think someone else asked that question. So definitely apply more product to the roots. If you're prone to frizz, I would say go to a gel if you're using a cream and the creams aren't working. Switch the type of styler you're using, because that could also be it.
Yeah.
How do you maintain healthy ends? You cut them off.
By cutting them first off. That's where you start. Cut them off.
Keep them hydrated.
Hydrate.
So get a nice oil to put in at night.
So every night, try to oil your ends. Like, even sometimes I forget this, but I try to at least every other night. So I'll put maybe castor oil on my ends, or like a nice spray oil or something. I just like to keep
something light,
hydrated. You know, so just don't leave them vulnerable and sad and
because they get dry faster, and they're, like we said, they're more vulnerable. What can cause split ends aside from heat? Color. If you're dyeing your hair a lot, especially lighter, if you're doing bleach, getting highlights, that can for sure cause some damage. I don't care what you say. People who get blonde, you have to put more attention into.
Way more.
It's very high maintenance.
Yeah, it is.
So
high
if
maintenance.
you're going to dye it, make sure you want to put in the time to maintain it.
Exactly, because some people are, I don't want new color in my hair. Are you willing to do all the work that goes into it?
Right.
Because you can't just neglect your hair after you want something for vanity reasons, because your hair is not going to thank you in return in the long run if you're not taking the necessary steps to keep it healthy.
Yes. Because
it's one thing to have healthy hair, it's another thing to keep healthy hair.
Also, the environment, so external factors like the weather, especially when it's cold, that can cause dryness and brittleness, which can lead to split ends.
Also, if you do your hair in like buns that are too tight, or like Kendra said, if you're using the wrong kind of scrunchies, and you're just ripping them out your head at the end of the day, girl, don't do that. Take your time. TLC with your hair. Tender love and care. Also, like, depending on like when you lay down at night, if you're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase, satin. I mean, I thought to silk or satin. Most of us should be sleeping on silk or satin by now. I thought they're not that expensive. No, that's like the least expensive thing you can do for your hair and your skin as well. Yeah. Also, make sure you're not like laying on your hair, like when you're in the car or when you're like laying on the couch. Make sure you're not laying on it. Move it in front of you. Your hair is down. And if you don't want it down, just put it in a loose bun. Tips for definition. Section. Yeah. Don't just slap the product on top of your head, because then you forgot about the hair underneath. Yeah, make sure you, I always say no curl left behind. So that's how you can ensure that you have the most defined curls. Yeah. Now, nobody's saying you have to do like the shingling method. No. Because That is
very time
consuming.
So time consuming. I even stopped doing it. I didn't even do it at all.
I don't see how you did that. I
started doing it in the summer, but
like,
after when the winter came, when the fall and winter came, I was like not having it.
I said, you do this every time you do your hair? And you were like, yes. I was like, oh,
It got old, I'm not gonna lie.
See, yeah.
And it does work really well for a lot of people, but I found that the more I was wearing my curls last year, I didn't really need to do it anymore. So I felt like my curls were already kind of forming and being more defined on their own anyway.
Without you doing all that.
Without me doing all that.
Gotcha. You guys have seen me do my hair numerous times. You guys can see in the tutorials that we link. But I just like to do 4 sections and then do subsections within those 4 sections.
Yes.
So that's what I like to do.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because they're nice and medium sized. They're not too small, they're not too big, they're like just right.
Best cream for dry hair. So she's talking about styling cream? Or just like leave-in cream?
Well, I guess we'll give you both. So styling cream, I would say the As I Am like double butter cream is really good.
A recent one that we really like is the Living Proof elongating cream. That's a really good one.
That one is more style based though, and then the As I Am double butter cream is like a styler and a moisturizer. It's like both for me personally.
Also, as far as moisture goes, like just because you said for dry hair, the Camille Rose Curl Milk is my go-to, so you can't go wrong with that one. Do you guys have any tips on how to keep low porosity hair moisturized on a daily basis?
Oils. Well, first of all, when you style, make sure your hair is super wet when you're applying your styling products. But throughout the week, I would just say make sure you're applying oil to your scalp and your ends to help keep that moisture in your hair.
And find an oil that works for your hair, because not everybody can use every kind of oil.
And not all oils are effective.
No.
Some of them just sit on top of the hair rather than penetrate into the hair. Also try the lock method. Also, if you're not really retaining much moisture. So do a leave-in oil, then a cream, and it really helps make a difference.
Yes. After trimming split ends, what's the best regimen to prevent split ends again?
A routine.
A routine, keeping your ends hydrated,
gentle,
sleeping on satin pillowcases.
Not going to bed with your hair out trying to be cute. I mean,
just have
sleeping.
Just have better habits.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be better long term.
Most damage I've realized is because people are trying to look cute in times where they don't gotta be cute.
You can still look cute when you're comfortable.
No, I'm just saying, like, trying to do too much in times where it's not necessary.
Got it.
Like going to bed. Put your hair up.
That's true.
You're sleeping.
Also,
if your man don't like you in a bonnet, he don't love you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Or if he don't love you in a wrap cap, whatever, or a high bun, whatever. Do what you need to do to protect your hair if you care enough.
Yeah.
And I imagine that most
and if he cares about your hair, he should too.
But
also don't do the things that caused you to have split ends in the first place again.
Yes.
So let's
not
not
get the same result.
put heat in it every day. Let's not put too much color and dye. So let's basically maintain it by not doing the things that cause the breakage.
Yes.
What can I do if my hair won't grow past my shoulders?
I saw this question a lot where people kept saying their hair kept hitting a plateau and it wasn't growing past bra strap length or shoulder length. This is when you need to either switch up the supplements you're taking, try a new routine, try new products. It's all about trial and error. So whatever is not working, change it. Something has to work. Well, that's when you start. To me, that's when you start. A haircut is the start. And then that's when you switch out your supplements and your products and your routine.
Yeah.
So
first get that haircut and then the rest of the necessary steps. I have a section of my hair that is 4C and the rest is 4A. Have you experienced this? Thanks. I think a lot of people have more than one pattern in their hair.
Definitely, yeah.
So we definitely have more than one pattern. And
I have like 3C.
I just treat it all the same.
Yeah, I treat it all the same too. And just apply more product to certain areas.
Yeah, like we said earlier, apply more product in certain areas that are more stubborn, like we said. So it's just like knowing your hair. That's why we said make sure you have a routine, because the more you do your hair,
the more you know your hair.
You know what it needs and what it wants and how it's gonna look when you're done doing it.
Exactly. But if you always let somebody else do your hair, how are you going to know what your hair needs as your hair? So that's why I think it's important to also do your own hair sometimes, so you know what area is thinner, what area is weaker, what area needs more love. Like, the person doing your hair is not going to always tell you that, because they want you to keep coming back to get your hair done.
Right. Pictures of your hair at its shortest. I don't have any.
If I can find them.
I don't even think we have any.
Most of them are at my mom's house.
Yes. These are like
junior high school.
Like pre-Instagram days.
Maybe MySpace days?
Yeah, MySpace days was when mine was the shortest.
Yeah.
How often do you wash your hair? Deep condition? Do you do protein treatments? We wash our hair once a week when it's curly. Sometimes twice a week, depending on if my hair, you know, needs an extra deep condition or if it is, or if I try something new.
I was gonna say if I don't like it.
Yeah, if I don't like it.
Like if it doesn't turn out how I thought it would, if I try something new, then I wash it again. But mostly once a week.
Yeah,
we'll
once
co-wash. And then once a month, I like to actually shampoo it. And then when it's straight, once a month.
And we deep condition every week when it's curly. So.
Every week.
What's your hair porosity? Thanks.
We have high porosity. So our hair doesn't really have any issues with obtaining moisture. If anything, like if I'm straightening my hair, if I apply too much product, it looks greasy. And if your hair has low porosity, meaning your hair is like a sponge and it just soaks up everything, try applying your product, like I said earlier, to wet hair, because if not, it's just going to sit on top of the hair and not really penetrate. So apply products on wet hair.
Tips for people who just finished transitioning to natural. No clue what you do next. Start a hair routine. Yeah, start a hair routine. So get you a good shampoo and conditioner. If you're more of a co-wash kind of girl, find a good co-wash product.
Yeah, Camille Rose has like these 3 washing milks. They have like a milk for like definition. They have one for cleansing. I'll put them up here. I've been loving those. So I like to use those if you're like a co-wash type girl. And
get you a good regular conditioner.
So you can because conditioning your hair in the shower before you deep conditioning, it makes a difference. It's like the prep before you deep condition. So yeah, like Kendra said,
it's not as tangled.
Yeah, it's not as tangled. So yeah, after you get a good shampoo, conditioner, or co-wash, regular conditioner, get you a good deep conditioner, and then that's when you find stylers that you really like, whether it's lotions, whether it's butters or creams, whether it's a gel. Or you can use all of them, because I have to. So just find
before stylers, find a good leave-in.
Yeah, leave-in is like the key to like a good wash and go, because it sets the tone for how the rest of your products absorb into your hair. And it helps with the tangling as well.
How do you rejuvenate areas that feel damaged, like the crown of your hair?
Massage.
Massage that area, baby it more. When you do deep conditioning treatments, apply heat. So when I say heat, I don't mean like damaging heat. I mean like you want to seal in the moisture, like trap it in.
Yeah.
So do saran wrap, plastic cap.
Saran wrap, plastic cap. I do
a hooded like situation with a dryer attachment. We love that.
Yeah.
That will kind of amp up the deep conditioning routine.
Yeah.
So we have a ton of deep conditioning routines too.
Yeah, we do. And it helps the styling process too. I noticed for me, like if I add heat to my deep conditioner, and I sit under the little attachment, yeah, it's way easier to style.
Been at my hair growth plateau for 3 years now. Any tips? I trim it once or twice a year. I would say if you're doing all the right things, please take into account your diet and what you're eating, because a lot of people can be doing everything right as far as products and taking supplements. But all that can only give you so much, like with the results you want to, you know, see. But if you're not eating well, then you probably won't see those good results. It's not just one thing. You have to take into account all the variables.
Yeah.
So make sure you're eating fruits and veggies daily, drinking your water. Just make sure you have a healthy diet. So try not to eat too much sugar. The things you know you shouldn't be eating, try not to eat those too often.
Make sure you're not eating fast food every single day.
Yeah.
Try eating a salad every now and then.
Yeah, so more greens.
Yeah, greens are definitely your best friend.
Also, like anything with fatty acids in it. So fish oil, like we love salmon.
Salmon
is amazing.
If anything, we probably eat it too much.
Yes.
Sometimes we take a break from it. Also, eat a lot of beans. That really helps with protein. So if you don't really like to eat meat that often, try eating a lot of beans. I make this bowl, like mostly in the summertime, but we did a what we eating today, and I'll try to link it if I can find it, because we have too many videos. But it is a bowl that I do. It's kind of like a taco bowl in a way. It tastes so freaking good. And I like to make it. I do pinto beans, black beans. I do ground turkey. And then I do yellow peppers and red peppers and green peppers, and mix it all together on the stove. And then when I actually eat it, I like to add this salsa that I get from Whole Foods. It's super fresh. It's amazing. Y'all, it'll get your life.
Yes.
It'll change your life. Literally your hair life and also your health. Because it's not
Once you find enjoyment in eating healthy, it just becomes second nature.
Yes.
But I think people have to get out of the idea that healthy food is nasty, because it's not.
Well, it makes a big difference in your overall appearance.
Yes. What is one hair product you cannot live without?
Oh, girl, that's hard.
One? I would for sure say deep conditioner. I cannot live without deep conditioner, because I feel like it's like the foundation and the base of anything I would like to do to my hair.
That's very true.
I could be wearing my hair natural, I could be wearing it straight, but deep conditioner is always going to stay.
I think I'm going to go with deep conditioner too, because low-key you can use the deep conditioner to do anything. You can use it, depending on the texture, you can use it to co-wash, you can use it to detangle your hair, you can use it to deep condition your hair. So I'm going to go with that too, deep conditioner.
Should you trim your hair wet, dry, or straight?
It depends on how you like to wear your hair. So I would say if you like to wear your hair curly, trim it dry, like how your hair dries. So like do a wash and go, let your hair dry, and then cut it like that, like a curly cut. If you wear your hair straight sometimes, cut your hair straight. Because you have to think about how it's going to fall. Kind of like I said, that's why I don't have a curly cut. It's because I like to see where my hair is going to fall when I straighten it. So I just like to cut my hair when it's straight. And you can also cut your hair wet if you like to straighten it as well. Yeah,
it just depends on your hair type also.
That's true too.
From your book and past videos, how much has your wash day routine changed?
Not much.
Not much. We typically do the same things. The only thing now is if we want to wear our curls longer, we do. So now we don't only do curly summers. We'll just keep it curly a little bit longer than that if you feel like it. So now we're not like a strict, 3-month curly summer kind of rule.
I think also it's because we like how our curls look more now.
Yes, so we actually like wearing them.
Yeah, because we had to make ourselves get used to wearing them. So that's when the routine kind of like, moved around a little bit.
Yes. How often do you comb your hair when you're wearing it in its curly state? I don't comb my hair when it's curly, which is probably why I have so much shedding. I only like finger detangle. I've
actually been using my Felicia Leatherwood brush to detangle. Actually, I do brush my hair wet or damp when I do my wash and goes now, because the longer my hair is getting, the more tangled it gets, and it's almost impossible to actually continue my wash and go if I don't detangle before now. So I like to use that brush before I go in and put my stylers in. So I'll put my leave-in in, whatever leave-in I'm using, and then I'll just go in and start from the bottom, work my way up. Don't go right up here and then go down. You're gonna have a ton of breakage if you do that. So I just like to start from the bottom and work my way up.
Okay guys, so that wraps up our hair Q&A. We think this was like a really good video to do at the top of the year, just to get all your questions answered, and we will have all of our hair videos linked in the description box if you guys are interested in curly hair routines and different products and things that we do to our hair to maintain it.
Yeah, we'll just link a playlist.
Yes.
Because it's a ton of videos.
It's a lot. Also, our book will be linked down below as well if you guys would like to purchase that, because basically everything we talked about in this video is in that book today.
In detail.
In detail, it's in there. So yeah, we hope you guys found this helpful and informative. We hope you learned something.
Yes.
And we hope you guys reach all your hair goals. So hopefully we helped. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.